Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and I cannot wait to do today's deck profile, guys. I've been playing this deck a ton and had a lot of fun with it, playing it online and in real life with my buddies. And that is my Gandora deck profile. Now, I will properly give credit where credit is due with this deck profile here. This deck comes for a fellow subscriber and fellow content creator, and when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh content, Dark Arm Duelist. I have to give credit to him because he's the one that inspired me, to do this deck. And I have tried my darndest, actually, with my buddies and everybody to innovate this deck and come up with different tech options and things of that nature. And I'll be honest, it was very hard to find anything to really change because a couple reasons I want to mention is I played around with the different engines and different ratios, and I did try things out, but it messed with the consistency of the deck. So I changed a couple options here and there, tried different things out, different ratios for me, and I like it as is. It's pretty functional at what it's trying to do to bring Gandora X out, or Gandora. When Gandora Giga Ray comes out, that will help the deck overall. The deck has a multitude of different ways that it can win, and a multitude of different boss monsters. Kind of reminds me of a boss monster dot deck from back in the day. It is a 45 card deck because we run a Lightsworn engine and we do banish a lot of cards. Hint, hint. But for right now, the deck's pretty good as is. I am trying out different things, and in the future, I'll try to add some things to it. The one thing me and my buddies we found out very quickly from playing the deck is we found that the one Achilles heel of this deck is trying to get to Gandora as fast as possible. And we tried out some movie pack cards, we tried some other things out, we tried some tech options, but they just weren't as consistent. So we cut them and went back to the basic. So I have to give credit where credit's due. And without further ado, guys, let's get to this deck profile. If you're not subscribed to Dark Arm Duelist, go check his channel out. Awesome content, awesome deck profiles. Keep up the great work, man. And thank you for inspiring me to do this deck profile. Let's get started. So first we run 3 Gandora X Dragon of Demolition. I like this card so much. Ever since I saw this in the movie, I said I have to build a deck around this one day. I had no idea how to go about it. Luckily, we got some more cards over time ever since then, and it's actually become a lot more easier, I would say. So 3 Gandora Giga Ray, what does he do? He can nuke the board. Which is awesome, and he can get pretty big on his own. It's very easy to get him out onto the field with the one card actually here, Saryuja Skuldred, and he can get pretty big on his own as well. But sometimes he can get huge. But Skuldred really helps out well with this to bring it out. And on top of running Gandora X, we also run 2 OG Gandora, which sometimes you will go for. I find myself a lot more of the time actually going into X instead of the OG Gandora, but it does happen from time to time. You do go into it. If you have the choice in your hand of going for this or that, I usually go for the X instead of this. But yep, we run 3X, 2 OG. If Giga Ray comes out, I'll talk about what cards you can cut out for that. I found from playtesting online that, yep, it works perfectly well. There may be some things that also I would change up, but we got to wait for that card to come out eventually, and then we'll get into that. So, yes, let's keep on going here. Next, we run 3 Gizmek Orchid, the Serpent Knight Slasher. This card helps the deck out a ton in a lot of different ways. I would say this is kind of a key component in the deck, actually. A staple 3 of, in my opinion, and it does a couple things. It'll set up your banish zones, so when you bring things out like Green Maju Daiza, he's going to come out over 9,000. Legitly. You bring out Green Maju Daiza and just be like, over 9,000. There you go. So yeah, definitely he helps set up different plays. He can help be fodder for setting up for if you have Gandora X in hand to go for Saryuja Skuldred. He's level 8. He can help you go into level 8 Exceed plays. He is awesome in this deck. Hands down, staple card. If he's dead, a lot of times you can just trade in him away into grave. You'll draw 2 cards, and then you can set him up in graveyard. It's awesome. So, great staple 3 of card in this deck. Next, we run 3 Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions has a multitude of different usages he can be used for in this deck, be it for link fodder, be it for being a little bit of a beater. Overall, he has a lot of usages, setting up the banish pile as well. Overall, staple 3 of in the deck, I believe, hands down. Next, we run 3 Grand Maju Daiza. I have my super rares from OTS Pack 12. Thank you to my buddy who gave these to me as a gift a while ago. But 3 Grand Maju Daiza, staple card. This guy is easily going to come out over 9,000, which is why I have on the top of the deck profile the over 9,000 meme of Vegeta from Dragon Ball. So yes, you can bring Green Maju Daiza out and I can just go, he's over 9,000, you lose. So yeah, 3 Green Maju Daiza. He can come out as a big old boy in this deck. And he's kind of another boss monster for this deck. This deck, as you're probably seeing, has a lot of powerful monsters you can easily bring out. And the cool thing about it is it kind of reminds me of some older decks from back in the day that were what we called boss monster decks. They were boss mash decks. They could bring out Dark Arm Dragon. They could bring this card out, that card out. Twilight Swarm was a perfect example back in the day. You could go JD and Dark Arm Dragon in your deck. So they were boss monster decks because they could run Caius and this and that. So that's how this deck has a little bit of reminiscence for me of those older days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the way it plays a bit. And it's pretty consistent. Like, you would not think this deck is consistent until you actually play it. It is a little bit of glass cannon, but it is... you can do really good at locals with this. But 3 Blackluster Soldier. When Giga Ray comes out, I would probably cut this down. I still like him in the deck, though, because he's so good. So I would probably maybe try to find a way of running at least 1 or 2. But I would probably cut him down at least. But for now, 3 Blackluster Soldier. Like I said, if Giga Ray ever came out, probably cut this or cut down the ratio at least. But 3 Blackluster Soldier. You can run Chaos Emperor Dragon as well. I tried that. It's cool. But Blackluster Soldier, I just found that it was more useful, honestly. So that's why I run him as a 3-of. Next we run some of our lights and our Lightsworn packages, which is pretty simple actually. We run 3 Lumina. Lumina is going to set up for a bunch of different things, be it Synchro plays and Link plays. So that's what Lumina is in this deck for. It's going to help you set up for Sayuja Skull Dread, which I'm going to be honest, if you ask of the one Link that's the most important Link in the entire deck I found from playing this deck a lot, it's Sayuja Skull Dread. Because this card is going to help you bring out, if you have your Gandora X in hand, onto the field much more easier. Just so you know. So Lumina can help set that up, but she also can be versatile for doing Synchro plays, other Link type of plays, and things of that nature. But staple 3 of in my opinion. Next we run 3 Raiden Hand of the Lightsworn. Raiden is a staple 3 of in the deck. I played around with different ratios of this. I tried different Lightsworns out, I will admit that. Just to play around and see how useful they could be in the deck. At the end of the day, I found that they weren't as useful. Raiden's useful because he can become a little bit of a beater in some situations. He's a tuner, and he can help mill things to grave and set up in grave for stuff. So, at the end of the day, while you could run other Light Swarms, I played around with one Lila. I played around with the freaking one that pops stuff. I tried a couple different things. I ran a Wolf or 2 just to see if that would help out. It was wishy-washy, guys, I'll be honest with you. So I just decided to stick with the Raiden Lila combo. But I will say that running maybe 1 or 2 Wolf was cool to play around with, because that could be set up for Link fodder and Exceed fodder and Synchro fodder if you had a tuner. So that's something I just want to mention. I did try out that, though. 2 Plague Spreader Zombie. 2 Plague Spreader Zombie is really good in this deck. He's a dark, he's a tuner. You're going to be using him with Needle Fiber as well in the deck, which is cool. So Plague Spreader Zombie can easily be brought out with your Halki of Falbrax, aka Needle Fiber, which is great. So he's going to combo well with Needle Fiber over here. So staple 2 of. He's also going to be used as Link fodder as well, which is great. So that's awesome. Plus, if you draw Mally in this deck, which I'm about to show you, hey, you can reset the Mally. So 2 Mally. If Malicious goes back to 3 of. You're going to run 3 of it. I will find a way to run 3 of it because this card is so great in this deck because it's going to help you out with link plays and going for Sayuja more easily. Also versatile with Synchro plays, which is great. If he went to 3 of, I may even consider running a couple level 8 Synchros with Plague Spreader plays, but it's not worth it right now with Mally at 2 and the consistency you're going for level 8 Synchros. But again, something I did do some exploring with again. Next, I won 1 Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight's awesome. We tried Dark Grepher in the deck. Again, probably need another Mally before I consider that. It bricked too much and it was not as great. So, again, cut it out. I'm not joking when I say I did a lot of deck exploring, so that's why I'm talking about this. But 1 Armageddon Knight, you could try Dark Grepher if you wanted to, because you could special summon him out. But I felt like I needed another Malicious to validate that from playtesting, and a lot of my friends agreed with that. Next, 3 Charge of the Light Brigade. That was supposed to be a trumpet, by the way, Charge of the Light Brigade. But staple 3 of, it's going to be your searcher for the deck, and it really is useful in this deck. It's not usually dead, and it's going to help set up your graveyard, which is great. 3 Solar Recharge. Solar Recharge is a staple 3 of in this deck. It's going to be a draw engine for the deck. Awesome card to draw with, set up things in grave. You don't always have to worry about, this is another reason, because you see me running 3 charge in this, I was thinking of other different Lightsworns to run. That is something you can try out if you would like to. But that's what we're running right now, just 3 charge of the Light Brigade. We also run triple trade-in. You have a multitude of level 8s, which is great in this deck. One of the greatest ones I will say to discard and send to grave is your Gizmek one, because he's level 8 and he's awesome in grave. And he's going to get more benefits of him being off in grave. So you can literally draw 2 cards, set up for this guy in grave, and it's awesome. Always trade this card away if you can. But there are other targets in the deck, but that's my favorite one to send. 3 Allure of Darkness. Guys, we run a lot of darks, and we're also setting up for banished cards in grave. Why wouldn't you run it? I'm just saying. So 3 Allure of Darkness in the deck, I feel like is pretty straightforward there. 3 Pav Desires. Neg 2, no. With Grand Maju Daiza, I'm just adding that attack, man. Sounds good to me. So 3 Pot of Desires, staple in this version of this deck. I feel like overall, so definitely staple. And the reason you'll see here a lot as we're going through this deck that we're running a lot of draw cards is because you need to draw to your combos, and this deck is a combo-oriented deck. So you want to draw your cards, set up for your Sayuja, set up for your combo plays, etc. Next, we run 1 Monster Reborn. This is something I've been trying to run out in the deck. I love it. I wanted to make this deck a little bit thicker. I was trying other cards, like I said, and if I went back and redid this deck and played around with it some more, I probably would add maybe another Lightsworn or 2, because I just wanted a little bit thicker cards so I wouldn't mill out as much, or I wouldn't mill out more cards that were necessary in the deck. Like, you don't want to mill out a Mally and then have a Mally dead in deck. But if you don't do that, Mally's amazing. So you get the contradictions here. But Monster Reborn's awesome because you're going to be having things in grave so that you can bring back for link fodder and other things. So that's all for the main deck. No traps are needed. The only thing I would suggest is maybe you build your deck a little bit thicker than mine. Maybe add a 46, a 47. That's up to you. Let's get on to the extra deck. We run our Frigida card, which is over 9,000 because this deck can put out over 9,000 damage. Yes, I'm going to keep doing this with the meme in this deck profile. 1 Sayuja Skuldred, most important card in your deck. Right there and in there. This card is your bread and butter of the deck for going for your Gandoras. 1 IP Masquerena. I feel like that's pretty straightforward in this deck. 1 Needle Fiber Crystalion Hauki Fibrax. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. You do not need to run Nightmare Cerberus because you're going to just beat over your opponent's monsters. I'm being honest. But back row can be a pain, so you run Phoenix. 1 Blackluster Soldier Envoy of Chaos. If you're not able to go for Sayuja Skuldred because you're only able to get 3 materials of different names on the field, go for Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. I like it in this deck. It's been working out pretty well for me overall. We run also one Axis Code Talker. This is another level 4 you can go for if you need to break boards. For your Exceeds, one number 60, Dragalon the Timeless. This is something I was trying out. It's nice because you can set up things in grave. And otherwise, I wouldn't run this card. You don't a lot of the times have level 4s in the deck. I was thinking of running a Cerberus or some other Link cards, actually. Maybe like a Salamangreat, All Mirage. That's something I was thinking about. But I found that it was nice because you could set up things in grave. Next for level 8s, one number 38 Hope Harbinger. You will sometimes overlay your level 8, so that's important. We also won one number 97 Dragulon and one number 100, so you can do damage with it. Again, this deck has a multitude of ways to put damage onto the field, which is great. For your Synchros, we're running one F.A. Don Dragster, one Michael the Lightsworn Archangel, one Borlode Savage Dragon, and one BL's the Diabolical Dragon, which you can do some cute plays with Gandora X if you can go for this, which is awesome. So we'll say that in general. So again, shoutouts to Dark Duelist. He is the Oracle. I am just somebody that took what he did and tried to improve upon it as best I could. Like I said, I've talked about a lot of different things in this video of what I changed up, different things I did, different things I was implementing, different things I tried out. Just to explain to you guys, I did my best to try to improve it, and this wasn't just me that worked on it. This was a group of my good friends that I have turned to for multiple deck experience, and they were all like, I don't know what else to add. Like, we tried different cards out, and we were just like, I think it's pretty good as is, man. So I was like, okay, all right. But I will say if Malicious goes back or we get Gandora Giga Ray, that will change this deck up. But till then, we got to wait. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Go Gandora. Definitely try this deck out if you want to have some fun in Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.